Hello, viewers. I'm SB, and welcome back to the case of the Golden Idol. Sorry, welcome back to Golden Idol Mysteries, the Lemurian Vampire, where today, the Lemurian Vampire strikes. I expect it's going to be a metaphorical vampire, which is to say, a rich person. This is impossible. The prince bolted the door from the inside after his last gift arrived, and Jayan and I stood guard the whole night in shifts. So he has a spear and a wooden cube consisting of two parts. What a bizarre... What a strange description. There is a rat here who ain't doing so good. Rat is breathing, appears to be deeply asleep. I guess. Listen, I have had a number of pet rats. That is not generally how they do that, but okay, fine. An overturned pot of honey and an overturned jug of fruit juice. And yeah, okay, thank you. That's a very helpful description. This is a human skeleton, missing a tooth. First, just minutes ago, we knocked on the door and there was no response. Second, we became worried, so Zubiri and I forced it open. Third, the room was empty but for the sentinel's skeleton. Finally, then you started arriving. You also got a wooden cube consisting of two parts. We have been punished by Tower Dweller. This is its revenge. It has turned our new sentinel to bones and escaped by its power of flight. Okay, I feel like we're assuming a lot of things about Tower Dweller and its capabilities. As I ran here, I did not notice it fly away while you were forcing down the corridor, or while you were forcing down the door. Could it still be here, or is it long gone? This is only one part of such a cube. Poor boy. It does indeed seem that Dweller does not look kindly on those who wish to confront it. Now we need another sentinel. So he brought his own knife and a wooden cube consisting of two parts. Have I missed something? I was doing my morning meditation when I heard the noise. So you have the other part of her wooden cube, plus your own wooden cube, plus kind of a weird necklace. There is a half-eaten fish. I would describe that as more than half-eaten, but I get what you're saying. Over here we have some baskets containing jars of honey and also big clay jugs filled with some liquid. I mean, they sure look like this kind of jug, so fruit juice, most likely. The window is a simple opening in the wall. Through and window were the words we got there. That one's full of an empty sack. And here we have some fried fish. A large door that has been forced open, presumably with this mallet. Huh. Okay, so a bunch of those fish, but also some meaner looking fish. Hey sister, look what I caught. The snapperfish hid a shiny in its mouth. I have a new playstone. Did you have a good sleep? I left before you woke up to get the best fishing spot. So a golden ring set with a diamond that might well have been hurled out that window. Dead snapperfish. I am well, brother. I hope Tissa learned his lesson, and both will leave me alone now. You also have part of a wooden cube for some reason. And it looks like there's not really anything else going on here. What's going on up above? Ah, we have the 3 time periods thing again. Okay, the order of these symbols probably matters. Burial urns. Are you not afraid looking at the Dweller all the time? What if it looks right back and steals your flesh? Do you think these ancient sentinel bones will protect us? Do we figure it can steal your flesh by looking at you? I mean, I guess it seems to have stolen the flesh of the new sentinel, huh? Oh, Tower Dweller cannot act from so far away. I have been staring at it all night and nothing has happened. We need only beware if the Tower Dweller moves. Then we should run to the village and warn the sentinel. And you also have one of these wooden cubes. And of course here, Tower Dweller. The classic Tower Dweller. Alright, what about later in the day? Tower Dweller does not appear to have moved. But the guards do. Okay, we were at the end of the day already. I don't think any of them have changed positions. That's what I was trying to figure out there. Always follow your motto. A massive, seemingly immovable stone door. Some kind of key, a number sequence perhaps. And... Dare not try, Sentinel. I will peel your flesh until only bones are left. This is a level of technology that I was not... I mean, it sure looks like a tablet, right? It looks like almost... Maybe it's just supposed to be a whiteboard and a marker. But it almost looks like more of a, like an Etch-a-Sketch or like e-ink kind of display. Anyway. So at this point, dude's still alive. The door's closed with a heavy latch. Okay, these are filled with some liquid. Also honey. It's worth noting that there's a jar of honey and a jar of juice unaccounted for, I think. Because I think in the evening scene, there were 2 jugs in each. With one jug, actually, maybe not even that many. Because, like, there are jugs and bottles over here already. Maybe more was taken. Oh, this life is more worthy of a prince. And now I have some sweet honey to enjoy with the sweet juice. And tonight I will meet with you at last, my golden-haired beauty. Alright, so yeah, this was in fact your ring. You had a cube and a half. Interesting. Okay, same kind of fish in the lake. That traitor Tissa. He and Kula have been thick as thieves in all the last votes. Just this and then one more basket of gifts to deliver to the Sentinel, and I am done. I hope that little gnat enjoys what I give him. Okay, mischief. Mischief is occurring. Gifts to deliver from each guardian. Juice, honey, tasty fish, lots of eggs. Weird. Yes, first he asked us to bring him all the shiny playstones of children. That was weird. Now he's demanding fruit juice from me. He is a difficult sentinel to please. I like how our guardian of agriculture is just like perpetually annoyed. He's never had a good time in any situation ever. Red gourd, very bitter, cures stomachache. Spotted gourd, seeds are good for insomnia or if someone needs to be sedated. Yellow short gourd, flesh tastes bad, seeds work well as a sweet spice for drinks. Okay. So, the seeds work well as a sweet spice for drinks. The red liquid definitely had these seeds in it. Local fish of the village lake. Red snapper, vicious flesh eater, will tear anything apart in minutes. Tasty. Green snapper, harmless but tastes like dung. There was a half-eaten green snapper in the bedroom. That's curious. Okay. Alright, what about in the morning? Look who it is. So wait a second. Alright, first of all, big ship on the horizon. But note, the idol's stone is red here, and it's blue in the other time periods. It's blue later in the day. Alright, burial urns, no big surprise there. Alright, we're having a big conversation here. Year 324. The mottos of the Guardians. Guardian of males, protect the weak. Guardian of females, we listen, we plan, we organize. Guardian of agriculture, the diligent shall have full bellies. Guardian of children, always preserve the ancient practice. Huh. Doesn't really seem all that related. Yes, enough of this. We must strike and bring down that monster at last. Let's go to war with it. Everybody's brought their cubes today. I have a bad feeling about this. What if it puts everyone in the village in danger, including the children? My heart says we should preserve our ancient practice. It has never let us down. So same necklace, wooden cube. What does it mean that she has more of a cube later? This is a terrible idea. Violence is never the answer. No wonder Virlus is so keen on it. But we must forget this plan and return to our usual duties. You gave me your word. I have your promise cube half. I upheld my end of the bargain and voted against Momgo in the last 3 meetings. I want her. Okay, so the bottom half of this cube was given as a promise. Are you sure you could pull this off, Tissa? If you are, let us try it. I am fluent in the in the secret language of Old Lemurian. The nature of the so-called dweller is clear to me. I will provide the noble Tissa with the right incantation to deal with it. Day 26 on the island. The council does not take me seriously. I cannot just go and bring down that thing in the tower. I need the community's support before I make some changes here. Day 27 on the island. Success! Tissa was very receptive to the idea of us destroying Dweller. His motivation may not be as noble as mine, but I must seize any opportunity. Let us hope we manage to convince the council tomorrow. And then that line is repeated probably, I'm assuming that's a bug. I'm assuming that's not supposed to be that way. Too long we have lived in fear of our lives. I am your new sentinel, and I say that the next time I am summoned to deal with Tower Dweller, I will not just banish it, but crush it once and for all. Okay, so dude's got the bottom part of a cube. Definitely worth noting. So I'm missing 5 words still? Jeez. Alright, the fish. Then do not do it, beautiful Sahelia. Follow your heart. No one can make you do something that goes against your nature. You do not know how horrible it is when all the women in the village hate you. Kula invents new lies about me every day. I cannot take it anymore. But I have found someone who has agreed to help me out and solve this problem once and for all. Okay, that's interesting. And that's... what am I missing? I must have missed a location. Because we're missing a lot of words still. 4 whole words. Oh, I didn't actually look at this screen. That'll do it. Dare not try, Sentinel. I will peel your flesh until only bones are left. That's weird that we're getting the word left in this way. Sahelia, I am glad you finally agreed to cooperate. I do not understand. I understand that you want to be concealed. Do not worry. I have done as you instructed. The Een family name will not be tarnished. Okay, there we go. That's all of our words. Good. Then tell Momgo to come for your eggs to my hut. To come for your eggs to my hut. The basket will wait him there. Do note that I will do this once tonight and never again. It happened last night. I was walking with Kula when suddenly we saw someone run down the stairs from the platform that leads to the tower. I could not see who that was, but they were carrying a sack with something. Maybe a sack of something? She was wise to send you to report this. Find a partner, get 2 spears, and stand guard near the tower. If the Dweller or someone in league with it can enter our village, we must be aware. Alright, on the standard... Yep, standard bits here. There is something extra strange, or there's something strange going on here. I keep, something about this font keeps making my eyes want to jump down a line while I'm reading it seems like. There's something strange going on here, but I am sure these extra guarding duties are an overreaction. Nevertheless, we will have to go along with it. Tomorrow we march to the tower, and the Dweller will scare your village no more. Okay. Yeah, and this. So, in chronological order, which guardian wanted to send which gift? Okay, there's a lot going on here. The night immediately before the murder, someone managed to something the noun of a different noun. Oh, this is handy. As in the previous things, like information held over from puzzle to puzzle, and it was important stuff to know. You would just have to go back to make sure you had it straight. I appreciate them bringing it forward here in the UI so that you don't have to keep jumping out of the puzzle and back to the other ones, and then out of those and back to here. And all right, I should really have taken my medication before starting the episode here. I'm gonna drop a cut in to do that. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I just thought it would be a good idea for me to get that done before I focused on the episode stuff and got it, forgot again. It is very important, kids, to always do drugs. So, let's figure this out. We have a little bit of information in front of us. Just a little tiny bit of critical information in front of us here. So Tisagamini was killed sometime between the periods of time represented by these symbols. So this is just sort of like a midday, maybe afternoonish, and here it's kind of evening-y, like judging from the building shadows and stuff. And here we have a dead Tisagamini. So what all is it that happened exactly? Somebody wanted to verb. Let me put the words back on here. We do have actually a lot of verbs here, although not all of them are in the present tense. So somebody wanted to present tense verb the 2-word noun, which is probably, I mean, it tends to be Golden Idol, right? And so access the something's lodge using a whatever and killed Tisagamini, it would seem. Except we don't have the name Tisagamini. I guess we always have with the show known information thing isn't just about letting us keep track of what's going on. It's so that we have these words in the puzzle without them having to put the words in the puzzle. Right, okay, so killed Tisagamini. Tissa's dead. Afterwards, the murderer verb threw in or to a something. The murderer hid, probably, right? Hid, cured, sedated, and returned. Hid is the only one that makes sense with a with one of the gray words after it. I suppose like returned through a door is technically. Oh no, we have left. Left through a something is totally viable. It would seem to be left through a window. That would be the initial guess, but let's maybe hold on a second. I guess, do we even... Yeah, we do have window. Okay. In the next morning... Okay, this is supposed to be the next morning, this time period. The villagers found the skeleton of the dead person and became really... That's interesting. Became really afraid, right? Like, this is the only thing that fits here? Again, just grammatically. They certainly didn't become really basket. Yeah, it's got to be. And is that Tower Dweller? Oh. I didn't realize we could zoom in like that. And also, I don't know how I accidentally did it. So, they're really afraid of Tower Dweller, right? Yeah, we've been punished by Tower Dweller. This is its revenge. I did not notice it fly away while you were forcing down the door. Yeah, I feel pretty confident that we can just throw Tower Dweller in there. Either that or they became really afraid of Sedative Lake. Okay, so in chronological order, which guardian wanted to send which gift? We know Tissa was accepting an awful lot of gifts during his last day on Earth. Someone put blank in the blank that was brought to someone. This is just like an extra, completely disconnected piece of information. It probably has something to do with the gifts, right? How gift was spiked in some way. Weeks before the murder, someone became indebted to someone. Hours before, someone became indebted to someone. And the night immediately before the murder, someone managed to verb the noun of... It's a little tricky because, like, I feel like in the base game, the different colors broke down a lot better by, like, what kind of word they were. But here, like, we have afraid in the yellow slots, which is weird. But yeah, mostly the yellow words are nouns, and the red words are proper nouns. Okay. Well, let's see if we can figure out what it is that happened here with the murder. Like, what is the method of the murder? Or, indeed, is this what it looks like it is? Because it would be pretty easy to make the assumption that Tisagamini was killed. But what if it's something else? What if it's something trickier than that? If it is, in fact, Tisagamini getting killed, this is like a whole lot of body missing very quickly, very unusually quickly. But it's not totally impossible, I guess, given that we know there is magic to be had here. And the Tower Dweller, does the idol does not change states between those two time periods. It's red here and blue here when Tissa's still alive. And then it's still blue here. Are you not afraid looking at the Dweller all the time? What if it looks right back? Tower Dweller cannot act from so far away. I've been staring at it all night and nothing has happened. Yeah, so... whoever is in the tower with the golden idol did not move or cause this to happen in any way. Definitely not a Tower Dweller action. Did you have a good sleep? I left before you woke up. So, a golden ring set with a diamond that we have reason to believe went out the window, right? Because this was Tissa's. Now, it could be Tissa just jumped out the window and ran to safety. Swam to safety. Some mean-looking fish in here. So, gifts to deliver from each guardian. Juice, honey, tasty fish, lots of eggs. I don't suppose it matters in chronological order which guardian wanted to send which gift. Okay, so it does matter. But we know that, at the very least, the juice and the honey got delivered before the fish and the eggs. So we don't know exactly the orders. Given the way these are set against the wall, I would think that the juice got delivered first. Juice, then honey. Right, because otherwise, if the honey was delivered first, somebody would have had to move the honey to get the juice into the corner here and then move the honey back in front of it, because it's like occluding the juice on two different planes. So that feels pretty solid. And then you're fishing right now. Just this and then one more basket of gifts to deliver. So presumably they did the fish, then the eggs. And if we look at this here... See, it makes sense that the eggs were delivered... Well, it makes sense that this was delivered first. Because Again, would they have bothered to pull the fish out of the way so they could slide this other basket in behind it? But that ain't eggs. So, you know, maybe that's a little bit more complicated than it seems as well. Presumably that was the murderer or something. This rat is breathing but appears to be deeply asleep. The juice and the honey were consumed. So this has like the little black crosses in it. This has the red triangles. We know that's something. This is a half-eaten fish. Hold on. Where was that? Nope, that's inside the building. That's not what we want. Where is the place that we learned about those seeds? Is it maybe not in this time period? Because somewhere there's a place where we saw. Somewhere there's a place where we saw something about those seeds that let us know what they were, but I don't know. Don't remember where that was. There's a lot of information getting put in front of us. Okay, there's all these burial urns, which presumably are only here for the purpose of helping us contextualize. Actually, let me take a picture of these. I'm gonna just Steam screenshot those. Because there is over here this set of buttons, right? And presumably, as we can see that these ones are like scuffed. Are these just the numbers in order? I'm gonna pull this up. Y'all won't be able to see this, but I'm gonna pull this screenshot up on my other monitor here. Okay, so the dot is like dead center. The vertical line is to the right of that. The square is to the right of that. The triangle is actually to the left of the dot. So actually, yeah, this is the central symbol. Then if we go one jar to the right of that, we get this. 2 jars left from there, we get this. 3 jars right from that, we get this. 4 jars left, 5 jars right, 6 jars left, 7 jars right. So it's just bouncing back and forth over the midline. Yeah. That's interesting, but I don't know what to make of it. Massive, seemingly unmovable stone door. And then here, do not try Sentinel, I will peel your flesh until only bones are left. Next to a button, and then this text appears on the outside of... It is this building, right? Later in the... No, not there. It's here that it's visible. And yeah, it would be that. It would be that building. I'll peel your flesh until only bones are left. So... Okay, that's interesting, certainly. How do we... Man. How to make heads or tails of all this nonsense? Which guardian wanted to send which gift? Okay, the meeting of the Guardians is here. Do we have a sense of this? Remember your mottos. So protect the weak, listen, plan, organize. But all of the things are something to consume, right? So like the diligent shall have full bellies applies very well to all of the gifts, and none of the rest of this stuff applies to any of them. So this is not a good approach. Strike and bring down that monster at last. Let's go to war with it. My heart says we should preserve our ancient practice. It has never let us down. We do love to preserve the ancient practice. Give me your word. I have your promise cube half. I upheld my end of the bargain and voted against Momgo in the last 3 meetings. I want her. So a person with the bottom half of the promise cube sent that text, and it could totally be you. Do not do it. Follow your heart. No one can make you do something that goes against your nature. You do not know how horrible it is when all the women in the village hate you. Kula invents new lies about me every day, and I cannot take it anymore. I have found someone who has agreed to help me out and solve this problem once and for all. So it would seem to me that Tissa was trying to arrange a deal to acquire Sahelia in whatever way was going to happen here. Is Tissa the only person who has the bottom part of a promise cube? I thought we saw one more somewhere at some point. Let's just look over everybody one more time for promise cube bits. Okay. So you now have the bottom part of someone's promise cube. And we have no reason to think it's anyone else's. Does anyone else only have half? I guess is an important question. You don't have one at all, which is interesting. You only have half of yours. So I hope Tissa learned his lesson and both will leave me alone now. So she thinks something has been done to Tissa. But as for what exactly, hard yet to say. Gosh, where was that piece of information about the seeds? Because we did see something. And it would seem to be useful at this point. But I've already forgotten. Door's been forced open, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. And I mean, it was barred when it was forced open. It is currently swung outward, but I don't know for sure that... I mean, that probably means it was forced open from the inside. So somebody was smuggled in as a gift. But I'm always leery of trusting something like this because it could so easily be a detail left by the whoever that did the whatever in order to cause, you know. It could be one of those lovely red herrings. So yeah, this thing was definitely in the water. I don't really know what to make of this. We can see things. That bag is here. Is this the place where the gifts were being gathered, or I guess like, oh, here it is. So the red snapper will tear anything apart in minutes. Green snapper, harmless but tastes like dung. Yeah. Right. Red gourd, very bitter, cures stomachache. So that's this one. So the yellow short gourd has the seeds that work well as a sweet spice for drinks. The spotted gourd has the seeds that are sedating. So you'd use these to drug someone. And we know that in the end, those were found in the honey. So this is just spice for the drink. This is just make drink taste good. But this is poison. This is someone was sedated, and then something was done with them. They were still. How do we get to the skeleton so quickly? Right? There is, of course, a fish that eats flesh. But like, what would have happened? The person would have thrown this guy out of the window, let the fish eat his flesh, and then reeled his skeleton back in, or pulled it out of the lake and dragged it back in through the open door. Like, this is probably not Tissa's skeleton, right? This is a different skeleton that was brought in with the bag or something, maybe? What exactly was it that you said here? Just this and then one more basket of gifts to deliver to the Sentinel, and I'm done. I hope that little gnat enjoys what I give him. So he's doing a mischief. He's potentially the honey person. And this is just a bunch of honey, but also conspicuously that bag, and some of the seeds for the drinks, the seeds that function as spice for drinks. Glad you have finally agreed to cooperate. I understand that you want to be concealed. Do not worry. I have done as you have instructed. The Een family name will not be tarnished. Sahelia is Sahelia Een, most likely. Tell Momgo to come for your eggs to my hut. The basket will wait for him there. Okay, so your eggs. They're Kula's eggs. But unfortunately, we don't know. They're last, right? Kula Sterna wanted eggs delivered. Probably. That's probably right. Maybe the fact that it's fish and then eggs tells us that, in fact, the logic I used to determine juice before honey is not solid, because the fish and eggs gift positions seem wrong as well. They seem wrong in exactly the same way. Yeah, maybe. I will do this once tonight and never again. I was walking with Kula when suddenly we saw someone run down the stairs from the platform that leads to the tower. I was walking with Kula when suddenly we saw someone run down the stairs from the platform that leads to the tower. We can't really get a good view of this area at all, unfortunately. These are the stairs, I guess. And these are footprints. And this is the only time period that has those. So that's weird. She was wise to send you to report this. Find a partner, get 2 spears, and stand guard near the tower, which he then did. If the dweller or someone in league with it can enter our village, we must be aware. So we don't know who has access to this building. Unfortunately, it's not like a key entry or anything, right? We can't see who would know the code. Although we might be able to see who's got smudgy fingers. I mean, not really though, right? People's hands are very rarely in their detailed profile. If somebody was interacting with the spotted gourd to peel the seeds out, the flesh of this gourd is kind of the same color, right? As the smudges? I think so. So maybe this is Momgo? So someone put something in the honey that was brought to Tisagamini. A sedative. What is the word we want here? Practice, gift. Oh yeah, okay, we have the word sedative. Yeah, okay, so that's one thing. So I'm gonna assume that you're the one giving the honey for right now. Because none of the other gifts have, none of the other gifts are mischievous in nature, as far as we can tell. Unless it's whatever's up with the eggs, but or whatever's up with that bag. But we don't have any idea what's up with that bag. So, juice and fish. See, it's sort of strangely worded. Well, actually, you know what's interesting? I hope that little gnat enjoys what I give him, not what I gave him. So maybe the joke here is that he's catching the fish that tastes bad. Yeah, so then he's here. It's strange because he's the one doing all of the deliveries, it sounds like. So it's odd that it's worded this way. But it's which guardian wanted to send which gift. Yeah, I think the joke Momgo's playing here is that he's giving him the fish that tastes real bad. So that rat in the room is unconscious because it got into the honey, which is what's going to happen if you have a rat and also there's honey on the floor. So it kind of seems like weeks before the murder, I know I'm sort of jumping all over the place here. I have to apologize. This is how my brain works. And my medication, medication does not help with this. So it seems like Sterna became indebted to Tissa. And then hours before the meeting, so you... Hope Tissa learned his lesson. Yeah, you became indebted to Kula? Is that what's happening there? I understand what you want to... I understand that you want to be concealed. Oh, so it's Sahelia in the bag. The Eden family name will not be tarnished. The basket will wait for him there. So she was supposed to get given to him in the bag. But that does not seem to be what happened. Learn his lesson. So she became indebted to somebody. So Healing became indebted to whoever it was that did something, but I don't know if she knew. The way she talks, it doesn't seem to me like she knew there was going to be a murder. She thought something was going to happen. But Tissa learned his lesson and both will leave me alone now. It's like very strangely worded. Unless it is indeed the case that Tissa is not dead and she knows that Tissa is not dead. Because whatever's happened here is according to a plan that she is in on, right? The night immediately before the murder, someone managed to verb the noun of an noun. And noun is really interesting. So the first word has to be ancient, right? There are only two words that start with vowels to justify the an. And I doubt it's idle and idle, comma, golden. So someone managed to deliver, steal, preserve. The night immediately before the murder, someone managed to an ancient what? Oh, you know what? The phrase ancient, yeah, ancient practice is the thing they keep saying, right? What do I do? I'm pressing all the wrong buttons here. Yeah, ancient practice, constantly. Constantly we're talking about an ancient practice. Someone managed to preserve... We're going to have to figure out what that means. Someone managed to preserve something ancient practice. Someone managed to preserve the... Oh, maybe this is wrong. What is that word then? Preserve the window, door, bones, flesh. What else could it be? If this phrase is ancient practice, which I think it absolutely must be, given that practice is the only word that we've seen follow ancient anywhere, and this word has to be ancient unless it's idle. Someone managed to... steal, punish, preserve, or deliver the what of an ancient practice? Yeah, that noun there is a tricky one, huh? Window, door. It's like there is a weird door, right? There are two significant doors here. There's the door that leads to the Etch-a-Sketch, and the door that, you know, obviously leads to Tissa's room. But none of the present tense nouns have anything to do with the door. Punish, deliver, steal, preserve. You could potentially argue that, you know, the door of an ancient practice could refer to the door outside the Etch-a-Sketch thing, maybe. The sentinel of an ancient practice, the basket, the gift, preserve the gift of an ancient practice is not wholly not English, but it's weird for sure. Deliver the gift of an ancient practice. Yo, deliver the gift of an ancient practice is like real English. Ah, but notice there are incorrectly filled in slots, and it doesn't say 2 or fewer, so probably almost every word here is wrong. Yeah, maybe the logic I'm using. It's also possible that this one doesn't tell you if there are 2 or fewer wrong because there are only 4 in total. That could be the case, but the way that has worked has held. Let me see something here. Well, let me mess with. Okay, I can't test that by making 1 word wrong. What are you talking about? Preserve our ancient practice. This is not the first time we've heard about the ancient practice, right? Guardian of Children's all about preserving the ancient practice. Does the ancient practice has something to do with the children then, perhaps? Why is it the Guardian of Children's concerns specifically? Could be like steal the gift of an ancient practice, punish the sentinel of an ancient practice. But if we're being told that there are more than 2 slots wrong here, ancient practice is probably wrong. It's got, in fact, ancient practice literally has to be wrong. I wish I felt certain that the rules for this box were the same as the rules for many other boxes, but I don't because of the fact that there are so few spaces. That really does make things tricky. So what this is killed Tissagamini. I'm just like looking for other things to do on this screen at this point. Let's maybe work this a little bit. See if we can start to like build out the narrative of what it is we think happened. So this is sedated with honey, right? Oh, sorry, I had to pull it from wait. So it's killed Tissagamini, who had been sedated with honey. Maybe? Oh, right. I was looking for the word honey down here so that we could grab the copy. But right, it's as soon as you use a word correctly in one part of the page, it removes it from the thing down here, and you have to grab it from there from now on, and I think that's very strange. This has got to be sedated with honey. And probably it's Tissa. Tissa is the one who was sedated. Which this would seem to make it the case that, you know, this is not some weird red herring thing where Tissa's been run off and a skeleton has been put in his place to make people think he's dead. He's actually dead. Afterwards, the murderer left through a window. Afterwards, the murderer hid in a basket. Is not impossible either. Because we don't know exactly what happened. But, like, everybody ran inside, right? And then they're all in here. Like, that wouldn't have been a horrible time for the murderer to just, like, try to escape. I don't know. That's a pretty risky fucking plan. It's like if even one person is standing where Zubiri is like talking to people looking this way, then that person gets caught. They probably just bailed, but they wouldn't bail through the window because there's flesh-eating fish in that lake. So maybe they did have to hide in the basket. Maybe. Accessed? Okay. Somebody wanted to punish or steal the something. And so accessed the blank's lodge using a blank and killed Tisugamini. What is the using a blank here? I guess you could say using a door or using a window, but you would think that it would be more like... I don't know, that's unusual. I wouldn't say used it using a door to indicate like getting through a locked door. I would say using the tool that you use to break the lock, right? I mean, we're arguing that this is actually Tisugamini, right? Who is it? Who is it that did whatever it is that happened here? This is the one part that we're still really stuck on. Kula Sterna wanted eggs delivered. The Sahelia Een played a little trick and had a basket that was supposed to containing the eggs waiting. Tell Momgo to come for your eggs to my hut. The basket will await him there. Presuming that we are describing these things as baskets, which I guess is like they're wicker. I don't know, colloquially you say basket, I think of something smaller, but I don't know what else you would call this, to be fair. And by the time... So by the time Momgo comes to pick up the basket, something else is inside of it. Someone, presumably, is inside of it. So we can see this right now. Solve this problem once and for all is pretty... I mean, that's pretty permanent. Maybe it's the Blade Master? But no, she's talking to the Blade Master, saying, I found someone who's agreed to help me. So it's whoever this is. And then also, incidentally, there's the fact that, like... There's the fact of whatever's going on with this thing, right? The statue, the golden idol was used in between these two events. But we don't know, I don't remember what the spell is. Violence is never the answer. It sure is important to you, to Kula, that we not kill the Tower Dweller, right? I have a bad feeling about this. We should preserve our ancient practice. It has never let us down. We don't know what the ancient practice is. These two are against killing the Tower Dweller. These two seem to be for it. I am fluent in the secret language of Old Lemurian. The nature of the so-called dweller is clear to me. I will provide the noble Tissa with the right incantations to deal with it. What is it that you know exactly? Yeah, that's a challenging question. So, okay, like, who's missing? Right? This is a question. If there's a person in this bag already, it doesn't seem like it would have to be already. Who is it? Who's not in these scenes? You know who's not in these scenes? Is our guardian of children. Yeah. Lavumata is the person in the bag, probably. Provided that I'm understanding what's going on there correctly. That means it's Lavumata who would have wanted that honey delivered, almost certainly. And as such, Kruplu, who would have wanted the juice delivered. Nope. Maybe Momgo. I mean, I like this. Your eggs. It makes a lot of sense to me that if 2 or fewer slots are incorrect, that means we have all the names in the right places. Because having someone's name, having 2 names switched would be 4 wrong slots. So it's goods. It's goods that we've got switched. 2 of the goods are wrong. They are cool as eggs. We know that. We know Virlis is either the honey or the fish, and it's probably the fish, given... I mean, it doesn't have to be. It would be really weird if Kruplu was the one who wanted to sedate... Sahelia Een became indebted to Lavumata. Lavumata's got to be planning on the dude being asleep, right? When she crawls out of the bag or whatever. Or maybe Mom goes in on the plan. It's Momgo. But we have... Tell Momgo to come for your eggs to my hut. Yeah. Unless she's saying your eggs, like the council's eggs. It's like Sahelia. It's supposed to be Sahelia in the bag. Right, Kula has arranged for the basket full of a person to be delivered. She understands that it will be Sahelia for, you know, Tissa's wanting to be in ownership of her, but in fact it will be Lavu taking Sahelia's place with intent to commit a murder, probably? Probably? So we have a couple of questions left still. A couple of really, really important questions. We don't know who it was that... We don't know who it was that was caught running down from the platform the tower is on. And that probably matters a whole bunch. In theory, the golden idol was discharged or charged somehow, and whoever was there was involved in that. Is it set to... Hold on a second. I do have one question that pertains to the last case here, the last scenario. Because we did see the golden idol in this scenario, right? Yep, and the gem goes from blue to red to indicate its fall. And it has the same spell in it. It looks like the word jot. So... So what does that mean? The vitality was drawn out of... Years of vitality were drawn out of this person. I mean, does, do you look significantly younger by any chance in the evening? No, not really. I was doing my morning meditation when I heard the noise. It's very obviously some nonsense. You've got the second half of the thing, and you're the one who's missing. Yeah, so... Maybe whatever's going on with the golden idol is completely separate from whatever's happening here. Maybe. It would be weird, but not unheard of, and it could be some kind of through line that's running all the way into the third scenario. It may be a thing that we don't understand until the third scenario. Does this word have to be sentinel grammatically? So access the... You wouldn't say the Windows Lodge or the Doors Lodge. Certainly not the Golden's Lodge. It has to be a noun, not either of these adjectives. Baskets Lodge, Gifts Lodge. None of the rest of it makes sense, right? Access the Sentinel's Lodge using a something. And yeah, that's right. He is the Sentinel. I'm getting all hung up. I'm like, he's the prince here, right? He's made himself prince. But no, he's made himself Sentinel. Right, of course, yeah. That is the Sentinel's Lodge. Using a basket. You know, in a way, this is true. It's a little awkwardly worded. I would argue that Lavamata accessed the Sentinel's Lodge because someone else used a basket. But, you know, this is... You can stretch for this. So she wanted to... She wanted to preserve the ancient practice. Right? And so accessed the Sentinel's Lodge using a basket and killed Tisagamini, who had been sedated with honey. Afterwards, the murderer left through, hid in, returned to a basket. Honestly, could be right. Hid in a basket, returned to a basket mean the same thing, which is a little tricky. But I believe that in cases like this, I believe the game will sometimes accept multiple answers if they fairly describe a circumstance. And I think there are other cases where that kind of thing can happen. So returned to a basket. What else could it be? This is not a red word. It is a yellow word for sure. Because there's no, returned to a dweller or returned to a tower. Well, a tower could be... When was that? Hold on, let me... It's in the midday, right? I was walking with Kula when suddenly we saw someone run down the stairs from the platform that leads to the tower. But there's no change in the state of the statue. No. No, there is not. Okay. So yeah, it's like returned to a bag, returned to a basket. Something like that. 2 or fewer slots are incorrect. Interesting. Wow. I'm actually pretty surprised by that. So that means preserve the ancient practice is actually correct? Unless these 2 slots are wrong and Lavumata wanted to preserve the something else. But nothing else here makes any sense followed by preserve, right? So whatever's going on here, she's preserving the ancient practice by doing it. That's really curious. Out of curiosity, if I change basket to gift... Okay, it wants basket. It's interesting because that's another one where, like, basket and gift are both... They refer to the same object, and so you would expect them both to be right. So this means we are at exactly 2 slots, or incorrect. If exactly 2 slots are incorrect, which 2 slots can they be? This could be, like I was saying. Okay. So the fact that hold on. All right. It is considering that to be correct as well as returned to, right? The fact that it didn't freak out when we did that. Killed Tsukumini. How do we get to the point where he's just a skeleton? This is something I'm still not grasping. Because the only way I can think of that something like that would happen would involve the idol. But we know that the tower dweller didn't leave. We know the tower dweller didn't leave the tower all night, and we know they had the idol that whole time. Presumably. I guess we don't actually know that. Nothing has happened. Tower dweller loves to steal flesh. These are the bones of a sentinel. They've got to be the bones of a sentinel. Hold on. I'm looking for an indication that these have been disturbed at all. The head on the square one is kind of laid weird, but I think that was true before too. Oh wait, but was it true here? No. Huh. So what I'm wondering now is if perhaps access the Sentinel's Lodge using a basket Like, she could have brought a skeleton with her, is what I'm thinking. If that's what's supposed to be... Right, all of these are sitting nicely on top of their baskets, all the caps. And then here, the square one is disturbed. But none of the rest of them. And that's still the same. So what if that basket has a skeleton in it? As well as, I guess she has to be in there too. She's just showed up. She's all out of breath. And in that case, maybe they did just toss Tiss's ass out the window. And then they put the skeleton of... So the skeleton would be a sentinel. An ancient sentinel? Yeah. The skeleton is somebody else's. So Lavumata promised Sahelia that she would hide in the basket to speak to the prince at night and convince him to leave Sahelia alone. Okay, yeah, Sahelia's not all the way in on the murder plan then. Instead, Lavu killed the sedated prince, threw his body in the lake for the fish to eat, then placed a stolen skeleton in his bed and hid in the basket again. Once the body was found, she waited until everybody was inside, then climbed out and just ran in from there. That makes total sense. That hint with the central helmet being askew on that basket is pretty subtle, in my opinion. But like, there has to be, the skeleton's got to come from somewhere, right? So hold on, let me stay and explore. The night immediately before the murder, someone managed to steal the bones of an ancient sentinel. Yeah. So wait, what do I have wrong here? It's some set of this, right? Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. So, okay. We thought it was Virlis delivering the fish, Kruplu delivering the juice. So wait, what? This is 2 or fewer slots incorrect. And this is 2 or fewer slots incorrect. Mom goes delivering the fish, right? For sure. It had to be Lavumata delivering the honey. Yeah, this is the thing that's like, as far as I can tell, like, answers-wise, these two have to be right because the events of the scenario don't make any sense if they're not, which means that this is the only swap you can make without breaking everything, but clearly that doesn't fix it. So something here ain't right. What if... Am I like using the wrong word for something, or juice, honey, fish, eggs? I guess it's true that this is not actually what, like, you know, arguably Lavumata wanted to deliver the bones. That didn't actually change which slots are correct, which is interesting. But this is probably another case where it allows you to plug in multiple things for Lavumata once you sort of understand what's going on, right? So this makes 3 things wrong. I mean, Kulisterna didn't want to deliver eggs. I guess that's a thing we know. Kulisterna wanted to... Yeah, this is what the problem is. It's what they actually wanted, not what the list says they wanted. And Kulisterna wanted to deliver Sahelia. So then... Bones, fish, juice... I mean, she did want to deliver the honey. That is a real thing. Okay, this is how they want you to put it in. Yeah, that's kind of interesting because for Lavu Mata, it is like one of the two things she wanted delivered. I guess yeah, it's not. Lavu Mata wanted to deliver honey. That is true. She had an ulterior motive, but you don't have to put the ulterior motive thing in here because she did also want to deliver the honey. Whereas with Kula, you have to put her ulterior motive thing in here because she didn't actually intend to deliver the eggs at any point. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. All right, well, that's a completed case. Your actions endangered our commune, Zubiri. I'm sorry, but we have to isolate you. I don't know if that's true. Just throw him in a big hole? Dude, Zubiri Kara cannot catch a fucking break in these stories. Alright. That, of course, is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, we'll be taking on the third thing here, the less than amicable departure of two explorers. And this will be the final part of this case, and I guess of the game in its entirety. The splash screen for the Lemurian Vampire does say final DLC. I'm pretty bummed out about that. I would have played 100 more of these. But I suppose, you know, better they get out while they're still riding high than run it into the ground. I guess. I would have gone along for that ride. Anyway, that's going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, the end. And we'll see you then.